Washington football. Woo! Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Burgundy Zone. I am your host, Kyle, and I am joined by my two co-hosts, Michael Hall and Michael Reed. The Burgundy Zone is a part of the Frederick Podcast Network. You can find out more by going to www.listenfrederick.com, where we are rejoined by the all-star of social media on Instagram, on Twitter, Washington Today's own, Mr. Jordan Asri. Thank you for joining us again, Jordan. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks again for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. And Jordan, I got to get your immediate reaction because the news just came out today that Washington has acquired about 200 acres. They purchased it for $100 million, it looks like, for 200 acres out in the Woodbridge area, Prince William County. You know, obviously you live in Jersey and everything. Does this make sense to you?
Yeah, I always never really thought that Landover, Maryland was like the best spot for them to have a stadium. Obviously, like you said, I live in New Jersey, so no matter where it is, it's still going to be a bit of a trek for me to get there. But I definitely would rather it be in Virginia. I feel like there's more Washington fans in Virginia as opposed to like that Maryland area. I know there's a lot of Ravens fans there, but I feel like Virginia is just the better place to be.
You're absolutely right. I was talking to Puckett, texting with him before this, and we were both talking about how, like, the D.C. area, if you look at it, just in the microcosm right there, just a little bit outside of it, we haven't been showing up. And a lot of the season ticket holders live in Virginia, so it makes much more sense to navigate south more towards those people who are going to show up. So I can understand it. Like, is it going to suck that the drive's going to be longer for me? Of course. But I can understand why they moved south, because it's better for them.
Right.
Yep.
Now, also, Jordan, have you heard anything? Is this the final, or is this what they're going to go with, or are there still other places in play and this is just still a possibility, or what?
So from everything I saw, it's not like a done deal just because they acquired that land. That doesn't mean okay, that's set. This is where it's going to be. So no.
Okay.
There's definitely other things that could be in play.
I'm pretty sure that they also, like, they made sure to say to everyone that there's still ability to other options out there.
Right.
They're just holding the land until they get the okay from the county in Woodbridge.
They're holding it hostage, right? Yeah. That's a good tactic. I used to do it all the time.
Right. And going back a couple weeks ago, they had the schedule release, and obviously, I'm sure like everyone else, you went through the schedule, kind of picked like, oh, this is a win, this is a loss type of game.
Yeah.
What did you think of the schedule, and what was kind of one of the matchups that stuck out to you?
Yeah, I mean, so this schedule compared to the last one, I don't like saying like there's games that you can look at and say, okay, we're going to win this because it is the NFL and there's no such thing as like an easy win. But I'm going to shoot you guys straight. I'm looking at week 1. I see we play the Jaguars. I'm looking at week 2. We play the Lions. Like I want to be 2-0 heading into week 3 against the Eagles. Like I feel like that should be the expectation for the team. I feel like the fans should have that expectations based on the moves they made this offseason and where they want to be. So if they want to prove that they're going to be in the playoff contention, they got to start strong against 2 inferior teams.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and I would agree with you. I know in my heart, that's just not the way it goes here in Dub City there, Jordan. But my next question for you, are there any free agents that you would like to see Washington go after to add to this unit after this draft class has come in? And we'll get into that. But at the moment, looking at this team, looking at this schedule and where the depth is at these positions, are there certain free agents that you would like to see brought here to Washington?
I still think they should look into bringing Landon Collins back. I know there's been conversations with that. I know he wants to come back. I know they could still use his services. I know they've been talking about like linebackers, bringing in more veteran linebackers. I don't know if Cole Holcomb's the plan at middle linebacker or if it's a guy that's not even on the roster yet, but definitely think they could use more help at linebacker. More line depth, more line the better. I would say those are the biggest keys. I think O-line, linebacker, maybe another DB.
They did just sign another tackle, trying to find it here, but they did just sign him. He did play with the Panthers previously, so just let you guys know that is coming down the pipeline. But, Jordan, I did want to piggyback off that. Have you had any updates with Landon Collins? Do you think have you heard that there's been recent talks?
I don't know how recent it is, but it does seem like it's one of those things where from the commander side, like if the price is right, it's definitely something they'd be willing to do. And it doesn't seem like there's like a timetable on it.
Okay.
Like it could always be something that happens like later in the summer.
Right. Yeah. So looking at the schedule, just looking ahead, I know this is kind of a projection and of course some roster move stuff to be done as we just talked about, but what position battle do you think is going to be the most exciting this offseason?
Position battle. I don't know if it's necessarily going to be a battle, but I really like what they've done at receiver. Drafting Jahan Dotson, and you're going to be bringing Curtis Samuel back. I like Cam Sims a lot. They say they want to get him the ball more. I don't really know how you can get him the ball more now
Yeah.
at this point when you have Terry,
Yeah.
Curtis, Jahan, assuming they can all stay on the field. Tight end might be something interesting, especially as we see what's going on with Logan Thomas when he's going to get back on the field. They drafted Cole Turner, who the coaching staff seems to really like him. And I think they got him it might have been the 5th or 4th round.
Fifth round, yep.
Yeah, that seems to be like the sweet spot for some of these tight ends. Like, I'm not saying he's going to be like George Kittle or Mark Andrews, but
right. But that's
a lot of these teams, they get a tight end around in that sweet spot, and they seem to be starters. And I know they like John Bates too. So I'm excited to see where the tight end position shakes up.
Right. And you mentioned a couple of the rookies like Dotson, Cole Turner. There's a lot of these rookies that this regime drafted that seem like they can be like kind of impactful guys from week one. Who do you think is going to be the most impactful rookie that they drafted, and why?
So I do think it's going to be Jahan Dotson, honestly. I think he's going to be the most impactful right out of the gate. And Mike, you hit it on the head. It seems like the theme of this draft was not so much guys with like super high ceilings that could be like big contributors year 2, year 3. They wanted guys that, they could go on the field day one and make an impact. Jahan Dotson could definitely do that. I could see Jahan Dotson really having like a Jamison Crowder type of impact out of the gate. Brian Robinson, that's a good little dynamic they have at running back with McKissick and Gibson. But yeah, no, I really like the Dotson pick. I know a lot of people kind of lean towards it being like a slight reach, but I mean, if he gets like 900 yards, 5 touchdowns, I won't think it's a reach.
No, I don't think it's a reach at all, especially if the Washington Commanders draft board, if they only had, let's say, 18 first-rounders graded, I don't have any issue with them taking him at 16 if he was banked as a first-rounder in their eyes. But, we're not here to argue about if it was a high draft pick or not. But the tackle's name was Aaron Montero, is who the Commanders signed today as an offensive tackle. Going to your depth question before, Jordan, so it looks like the Commanders agree with you. But my next question for you, what is a successful season for Washington, the bare minimum in your eyes?
I really think for them to consider this a successful season, entering year 3 of this regime, I feel like the goal should be double-digit wins. We haven't had double-digit wins since I was in 8th grade. So, but like I said, it's the year 3 of this regime. We want to start seeing some results now. They got the quarterback. They got a guy they like a lot. So it's time. Like, they have the talent on both sides of the ball to do it. They have a favorable schedule. Just got to stay healthy and win 10 games. Should be enough to make the playoffs in the NFC right now.
Staying healthy is the number one thing there, Jordan.
Yeah, especially with us, especially along the O-line. But, that's another story for another day. But, Jordan, who is your breakout player for Washington this summer? It could be offense or defense. Who do you think is finally going to emerge this coming season?
So Antonio Gibson's been playing pretty good. Like, he has his fumble issues, but I really think this year could be the year he like really takes off, especially as a receiver. Because I know they brought back McKissick, but I think it's going to be important to get him on the field more. They're going to have Brian Robinson for those like 3rd and 1s, 3rd and 2s, but I feel like they've always been talking about using him like a pass catching back, and they've never really fully committed to it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this year could be the year. They have a quarterback that they're comfortable with, and Scott Turner can kind of just open up the playbook and do some new things.
The only issue is that Carson he doesn't like to go down to his check down. That's the only thing that I will say.
That's true, yeah.
And I definitely hope that AG kind of takes that next step to kind of be in like that household running back name that's like everyone knows about. But speaking of Carson Wentz, obviously there's 2 ends of the spectrum. A lot of people think he's going to come in and put up pretty good numbers like Kirk Cousins type numbers or similar to those back when we had a pretty nice offense. And then there's the other end of the spectrum. People think he's going to come in. He's going to be a bottom 5 quarterback for whatever reason, because he's never been one except for like that one random 2020 year. But what are your expectations for Wentz? Like, what do you think his numbers will be? I know it's like still early, but considering he stays healthy, plays about 15 games minimum, what do you think his numbers will be?
Yeah, and to go off your point, I feel like the public opinion on Carson Wentz is like it's a little too harsh. Like from my perspective, I'm not gonna like say Wentz is like a surefire franchise quarterback, but he's definitely better than some of the past QBs we've seen like in the past few years.
Like Mark Sanchez?
Yeah, like Mark Sanchez. But like I feel like we're gonna see once he steps on the field and you see him throw that first deep ball, you're gonna be like, wow, we haven't had a quarterback that can throw a ball like that in quite some time. I think like a reasonable like benchmark for him this year is like I'd say like 3,700 yards, 25 plus touchdowns, and just keep those turnover numbers low. And I mean, the results should speak for themselves. That should be good enough. Like the quarterback play should be good enough for this team to make the playoffs.
And if Carson, look, I know a lot of people will say that's probably not a lot, but for Washington quarterbacks, that is something awesome to hear. If we could get a quarterback over 25 touchdowns and less than 10 interceptions, like Carson Wentz's average his entire career, we would absolutely love that. But to wrap this up, Jordan, I got a couple questions for you. Who is one player that Washington cannot afford to lose this season?
One player that definitely Terry McLaurin. I mean, that's an easy one. He's the heart and soul of the team. You know, he's the leader. He shows up every single week. And without him, you start to see like Curtis Samuel would be the wide receiver 1, Jahan Dotson the 2. Like Terry McLaurin is he's going to be what makes that offense tick.
I got you. I like Charles Leno a little bit better, but I'm smelling what you're smoking, Jordan. I'm smelling what you're smoking. Now, my last couple, well, I have a couple, but John Allen put on Twitter the other day that he wanted the fans to react and give him ideas for him running out of the tunnel for his entrance before games, and he was just asking for ideas on what he could do. Was there anything that you saw that you really liked?
I didn't even know he did that. So yeah. I'm gonna have to go to that.
Did you hear about who he wants to have dinner with?
Yeah, it would have been hard to miss that one.
I think everybody heard that read.
I wanted to ask him that so bad at the draft party, but I was so scared. I was like,
oh my goodness. Now, Jordan, last one. Well, I know you like look over the NFL all together. You're like the new age insider. You're gonna one day replace Ian Rappaport or Adam Schefter. Hopefully, fingers crossed that happens for you. But can you rank the wide receiver position in the NFC East?
Oh yeah. The NFC East receivers right now are interesting. Even with Amari Cooper gone now, I would say I'll give. This is really hard. Like it's really hard. Like I want to put us first, but that's I don't know because
there's a lot of ifs.
Not on the field.
Right.
Yep.
Jahan's a rookie, so I'm gonna put the Eagles first, just because I mean they made that move to get AJ Brown. He's a stud, guaranteed stud. Devonta Smith gonna definitely have an ascending sophomore year, so I'll put them 1, and then I'll give the Cowboys 2, and then I'll put us 3rd. Giants 4th.
I didn't want to hear that, Jordan.
It's close. To me, if it's close, it's like by like that much. It's like
right,
that
like
error needle.
There's so many ifs. It's like if Curtis Samuel's healthy, if John Dotson plays out, if if he gets some help. So
like if you were to ask me on paper, I might say we're second.
Or who has the most potential,
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
But
because we have 3 guys.
Yeah.
We have 3 guys that could be good.
And we can't forget about Diami Brown either, who is a 3rd-round pick who really excels deep downfield. And I feel like he could finally get into that treasure chest of talent and potential with Carson Wentz at the helm. My last question for you, though. Looking in contrast, Jordan, from last season to this season, what is one area that Washington has to do better at this season?
Definitely being able to score in the red zone. Definitely being able to score in the red zone. Like once you're on the opponent's side of the field. Like I don't know if you guys remember the Packers game. I think there was some like 6 or 7 possessions we got inside the Packers like 40-yard line, and how many points did we score? Like 16.
Yeah,
like they got to find ways to finish drives, and not with 3, with 7. And I think they've set themselves up to improve in that area, definitely.
Yeah, and I think Logan Thomas probably had a lot to do with that as well. We all remember that Pittsburgh snag with the one-handed grab, and him in the red zone. It's obviously he is utilized, and even Taylor Heineke used it in the Philly game, if I'm not mistaken. Jordan, I can't thank you enough for coming on here and joining us and giving us your 2 cents, being able to grace us with your presence and your opinion on everything going down here with the Commanders Nation. But if you can, real quick, just in case there's anybody watching, which we all know is a very, very small percentage chance, if you'd like to plug your social media handles, just in case anybody watching wants to come follow you.
Sure. So you guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Washington Today. And for complete NFL coverage, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at JPA Football.
Real quick, have you gotten a good reaction on the uniforms from the overall NFL fan base?
Yeah, I think the major reaction is that's good, but as always with new things, like people will tend to not like things that are new, like new uniforms and new stadium, new name. We all know that. But I mean, personally, from my point of view, I think the main reaction has been positive.
Good.
And I love them. I love them, definitely.
No matter what, if a team gets a new jersey, they're going to get made fun of by the rest of the NFL. People are going to say something. Like, imagine if Dallas got a new uniform. Everybody in the NFL would be clowning them. So whether they liked them or not, it's just right.
Absolutely. I feel like the harshest criticism of the uniforms isn't coming from outside of the DMV. It's coming from inside, from a lot of upset people about the name. Jordan, I can't thank you enough, sir. Go enjoy your Monday night on this hot day and enjoy yourself, brother. It was a pleasure.
All right. Thanks for having me on again, guys.
All right, take it easy, man.
Man, I like talking to Jordan, man. He's a good dude.
Yeah. He's always got the insight, you know.
I used to always talk trash about Jordan, and he didn't deserve that, man. He didn't deserve that. I didn't. It is what it is. But let's move on, guys, and let's talk about the recent news that has come about from today. John Keim, Michael Phillips, all coming out and saying Washington Commanders have bought this land, and it's going to be down in Woodbridge, which is 20 miles away south. You know, it's pretty south. But do you agree with that, Reed? Like, are you kind of upset? I know you don't go to the games anymore, but how do you feel about them moving that far away?
No, not really. I mean, it's a business. If that is the location, that is where they're going to go, then I mean, you got to trust that they're going to put together a world-class little area, little park, whatever they want to call it, with all sorts of things for people to do. So it's going to attract people no matter what. It's going to be weird not having them so close, but that's definitely something that I probably took for granted my entire life. So it's just something I would have to get used to, going down to games and whatnot. But I think a new stadium would it would be worth it. Like, you go make this long trip and you get to go experience this awesome new experience that you don't, there's nothing close to it at FedEx Field. So it sucks in a way, but hey, at least it's not Dumfries as of right now, you know, at least, so it could be a little further, so that would suck.
Yeah, but like, honestly, like, does it upset me that they're moving further away from me? Of course. You know, I want them as close as possible. I would love for them to buy this lot right here in Montgomery County and Gaithersburg, but the powers that be aren't letting that happen. So they have to make lemonade out of lemons, essentially. And it's unfortunate because, like, in our group chat that we have with all of our drunkies buddies.
By the way, that's good, though. That's the main ingredient, I've heard.
And
lemonade, it's lemons.
Manny, like, in our group chat, was like, why don't they go down to RFK, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, and I'm like, I had to explain to him, it's because 3 senators that don't represent the District of Columbia, they don't represent D.C. It's Arizona, Virginia, and California are the ones that dictate what happens in the district down there at RFK, which I still to this day find ridiculous, but this is what has been forced. So they have to go as far away as they can of this area, and it would make sense that they would go down south. Puck and I were just talking about it. Majority of their season ticket holders are in Virginia. A lot of people traveling, you know, like Chris Bryant, Jeff Reinhart. You got Rio down there who's traveling up. I'm not sure exactly where he is in Virginia. But there's a lot of people who travel up these games, and they're the most diehard fans out there. And I would understand why they would move south. It upsets me, but at the same time, I can understand why they would do it. It's good for business because the D.C. area, the intermediate hand-grabbing of D.C., where we're from, Montgomery County, we haven't been showing up. And so you might as well go towards the base that is showing up. I have no issue with it. What about you, Hall?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much on the same kind of wavelength as you. Like, am I like kind of like salty that they're probably going to move it to Virginia, Woodbridge, or wherever? Yeah, but that's because I live in Maryland and I've been going to the stadium in Maryland like my whole life. It's just been like a 30, maybe like 40-minute drive with traffic. So it's been pretty easy access, at least getting there. Not leaving, obviously. But yeah, so I'm kind of salty about that. But at the end of the day, like you said, I understand why they're going down there. Majority of the fan base is in Virginia. If it goes all the way to Dumfries, then I don't know. That's ridiculous. I was literally driving home whenever like they were talking about it on the radio, and I just typed in like Germantown to Dumfries, and it literally was like an hour and a half, and I was just like, that sounds horrible driving. Plus, you got to add on traffic during the game day, so it's just like, meh.
I know that sucks, but that's what Chris Bryant. That's where all these other dudes are traveling.
That's why I'm like, you know what? It is what it is. Like you said, the other side of things is VA people have been coming to Maryland,
Yeah.
suffering through that traffic as well. So I get it. At the end of the day, I'm still gonna go to the games because I'm a diehard and I will support and rock with this team no matter what. But I will say I try to go to multiple games a year. It is gonna make it a little bit harder to go to multiple games just because it's just like the travel there, back, expenses, all that nonsense. But still gonna try to go to as many games as possible, and I'm still gonna go out and support the team.
Yeah, and I saw people on Twitter, I think it was like Chris Bryant, others had speculated. It looks like at the Staunton Mall out in Woodbridge is where the new stadium location is going to be because they're tearing down that mall. So they're trying to connect the two dots there. And look, I would absolutely love, I just want to see the new stadium. It looked like it's really cool because the way they brought up the concept is that the outer side of the stadium will be able to be lit in different colors. So like during the day, it'll be white, and at night, it'll be burgundy. So you're driving by and you'll see it glowing out of the darkness in Woodbridge. And I would absolutely love that. And then the ceiling, the actual roof, it's a closed-in ceiling, and it's actually see-through. So you can look up and everything. I love that idea. I think it's cutting edge, not including everything along with it, like an amphitheater, the team facility. It does make a lot of sense that they would go to Woodbridge. But did you guys see, I want to get your reaction, Reed, to the USA Today opinion piece on Dan Snyder being possibly voted out?
No, yeah, that, it's news. It's definitely not something that we've ever heard before. And it's not something that happens regularly. At least it hasn't for the last few years. So that's, that's big. Now, I'm so used to it at this point. I'm like numb to it. Like anytime any of those reports come out, I'm just like, yep, there's another one. I didn't even bother reading it because if it happens, it happens. If not, well, it is. But it does get a little. And look, I'm not even the biggest Dan Snyder fan, but it does get a little frustrating to seeing all these things coming out because it's almost like people just want to make news. But hey, if that's really going on, then more power to the owners if that's what they want to do.
Yeah, and it was an opinion piece. And so, yes, they did talk to an owner who asked to be remain anonymous, which they can do what they want. But I think
Jim Irsay.
I don't think it was Jim. I think it was Mara up in New York.
Jim's, you would have been able to tell. He would have started singing, or he would have been stumbling his words.
Well, I'm not sure if Jim Irsay is the type of person that wants people going in and looking into his closet to see what skeletons are there. You know what I mean? But the question was basically asked by
Kyle. What it is, he's killed people. That's why he has skeletons.
And by Andy Lockhart in a Discord chat server. And his question, Hall, was essentially, do you generally think this is the beginning of the end of Dan Snyder or just another pointless exercise?
I'm not gonna say it's a pointless exercise because it is like kind of a new development that there is like a small faction. Like people obviously probably knew there was a small faction of owners that probably don't like Dan Snyder and want him out. But for it to actually be like printed out there and actually put out there publicly, like reported, is, like I said, I wouldn't say it's like anything breaking news like Reed said. It's like what we've been hearing for forever now. So do I think it's like the beginning of the end? I would say no, but do I think it's like the prequel to the beginning of the end? Possibly, because again, as bad as it sounds, like all the sexual harassment stuff, yeah, that didn't really like move the needle. But when you're taking billionaires' money, no matter how small amount the money is, obviously they became billionaires because they love money. So that could be like kind of what does it. But again, there's got to be substantial evidence and like all that to go with it. So like I said, if I had to put a percentage on it, as far as like, is this the beginning of the end? I'd say it's about a 5% chance that
real fast. It's so funny. It's almost like Dan Snyder just kept having to one up Stephen Ross or something. At first, it was like these sexual assault allegations. They didn't do the trick because that guy, he took the integrity of the game in question, and you don't do that. Then Snyder's like, oh yeah, watch what else you don't do. And he's like, I'm going to take money out of these guys' pockets by not giving them their funds when they
yeah, but the amount that they're saying was scalped was taken away from the NFL.
We can't have any Native American imagery.
Right. They would literally wipe their ass with that type of cash.
It's just one of those things where it's like
I'm telling. Do you want to know my theory on that whole accounting bull crap? is that the NFL does this all the time, which is essentially a way to clean up their books, where they have these backdoor alleyways. Because you can remember that report about the money being taken away from the owners. They said put it under Roger Goodell's name, directly linking Roger Goodell, almost as if it is a generalization, like kind of file where you lock away and say, this is our extra stuff for this venue or whatever. I feel like this is something that every NFL team does, and they're just using it to try to oust out Dan. That's why it hasn't gotten any traction. But one thing I will say, when you watch the TV show Survivor, that was a national spotlight show that all throughout when I was growing up, right? One thing that was always consistent in Survivor was alliances. And a lot like high school, you have your cliques and stuff. I guarantee you, it's the same way with these NFL owners. There's some owners that mess with some owners, other owners that don't like other ones, and they all have their own little cliques. But our boy Danny did a good job of befriending the most powerful owner in the NFL in Jerry Jones. We all wondered why they were buddies. Well, maybe it's because they're very powerful and they have strong opinions and they think alike. And that would make sense a lot for Dan Snyder. But no, Andy, I don't think this is the end of Snyder. If I thought it was, I'd probably be leading myself down to a level of insanity just because you're expecting something to happen that it's not going to. But one thing I will say, Grant Paulson put on Twitter today that he worked with this organization for many years, and this is what they do. You know, they have bad news come out, like the opinion piece, and then they come out with this news about the Woodbridge Stadium to kind of downplay the bad press that Snyder got. I view it a different way. I view it as in because the report came out that said last week, Washington signed this deal and bought that land, that 200-acre land, last week. It wasn't until 2 days ago that USA Today article came out. That's not Dan Snyder covering his butt. That's the media catching wind that deal was going down. It's good press for Snyder buying this new stadium. There was going to be excitement amongst the fan base, so they had to print something out before it was made public. That's my opinion. Now, what media members got wind of that deal and then pushed it out to the higher-ups and everything, I don't know who that would be, but I guess the Commanders can look into their stuff and find out who started talking a little bit, who got wind of that, and to be able to push that info out there. But that's just how I view it, man. As much as they like to make clowns of this organization, they don't need help in doing so. I felt like this was just a natural process that went out, and the USA Today had to bring out something negative to downplay the good that was happening. That's just me, though.
I love Dan Snyder so much.
He does.
I can't stand the guy.
He's a huge. You have a tattoo of him.
Oh my!
Him and Aaron Hernandez. You have a tattoo of Aaron Hernandez too. You got it in 2022, and you wear his jersey on Easter.
And that's the craziest thing about this 2 years is that I vehemently just hate Dan Snyder, that kind of person, right? Like the pompous that thinks they're bigger than they are, talks down to people. I cannot stand that type of person. But I can also look at this and say, what you're trying to do to get him is not working. This isn't viable in court. You can't use this. There's no reason to get into it, man. It's all freaking ridiculous. I can't stand.
Kyle's also on Amber Heard's side though, so we gotta.
Dude, I was just watching the trial on today, and that stuff, dude, it is crazy. The psychiatrist that they brought up today, it is so funny. The lawyers asked the psychiatrist, which is the expert witness from Amber Heard's side, and they asked him if he's seen Charlie in a Chocolate Factory, and the dude starts losing it. And he starts on the stand going and you see Johnny Depp's what is he doing?
Wow.
It's
crazy that that's still going on.
Yeah, and speaking of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and wacky people, we are now joined by the introvert himself, Mr. Keith Gray. What's up, brother?
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Mr. No Social Skills, Kyle just called you. I don't think that's true. I didn't.
Yeah, man, I'm an introvert. I'm telling you. People don't believe it, but it's true.
Is it? Me too, but that's only because I'm severely depressed, very depressed.
Listen, you know what it is? I'm one of those people where if you're in a group of people that you don't know, I become an immediate introvert. I'm just quiet. I don't know. But if I'm in a group, with people that I do know, and there's a mix of people that I don't know, then I'm cool. I'm an extrovert.
You're gonna steal the show. That's what I do.
It sounds like an excuse to call yourself an introvert, Keith. But
yeah, pretty much.
Actually, the exact definition of a.
We have a question from the Colonel, and Keith, I'm going to go to you first with this one. Colts owner Jim Irsay just bought Kurt Cobain's "Smells Like Teen Spirit" guitar for $4.5 million per Good Morning Football Today. He already has one of Elton John's pianos. Would it be fair to say he's a bit eccentric and that his passionate dislike for Carson Wentz is a billionaire spoiled brat lashing out that he couldn't buy a Super Bowl the way the Rams did?
Now, I mean, I think their beef was all about that vaccination. That's the bottom line. And I'm not going to get into, if you should or shouldn't, but that beef was straight up. I mean, basically you had a billionaire tell a guy who's a millionaire, you should probably go get the vaccine. And this guy's probably like, nah, that's not going to happen. And then this billionaire is like, well, wait a minute, I'm a billionaire. You're a millionaire. You're a peasant. You should be listening to me. And the peasant was like, nah, not interested. And so, the billionaire was like, well, I'm going to show you what billionaires can do. Deuces. Mm-hmm. And so hopefully, their little stupid beef, because I truly believe that's what it boiled down to. Hopefully their stupid beef benefits us.
You're absolutely right, Keith. I agree with you 1,000%. I felt like the reason why Carson Wentz is not there is purely because of his medical decisions. Irsay has repeatedly said over and over it was the leadership qualities, lacking leadership, because he maybe felt like the quarterback of the team should be taking a standpoint as a leader of his own guys to go get vaccinated. But that's not up to Jim Irsay to dictate medical advice for somebody. You know what I'm saying? So I believe in Carson Wentz, dude. Do what's best for you, brother. I felt the same way here in Washington. A lot of people were getting on our players for not going to get vaccinated. They were even using Ron as an excuse for doing that. And look, Ron had the ability to say, no, it's too dangerous for me to be in the building. So I can understand it from that aspect of the players not wanting to go get it. So I'm with Carson. I do feel like it's 100% due to the vaccination. I don't think it's because he couldn't buy a Super Bowl. He's already done that before with Peyton, obviously, but I don't think so. I don't think it had to do with it. I think it was a vaccination 110%. What do you think?
I'm sure. Yeah, I was going to say, too, I'm sure that final game didn't help. But
no, it was like an excuse. It just added on to it about.
That's the other thing.
If he was vaccinated, he would have won that game.
Right. You could tell he got frustrated because Carson Wentz's playing style is so much different than like a Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck or even a Matt Ryan now. He takes so many chances and he's just a different type of quarterback. So that the vaccination thing, it was already like he was gone. Then he's going to start using his play as an excuse almost. Like he's not the kind of quarterback we want. He's not the kind of leader that we want. It's just, I think it's fairly obvious that Jim Irsay has a lot of skeletons in his closet, not because he's some serial killer. I did not say that, but because he's he likes to point the finger and he likes to go out and he likes to spend on big lavish things, as you said, Colonel. And I think it's hilarious that he goes out and buys all these classical musical instruments and hey, good for you, but also keep my quarterback's name out of your mouth and just stop talking because you're making yourself sound bitter and dumb and you're a billionaire. So we know that that's not the case. So just stop, sir. That's it.
Yeah, no, you guys are right. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's over the vaccine. It's just funny because he didn't have a problem with him not having the vaccine when it was like weeks 5 through 15.
Oh, when they were on that winning streak? Oh, yeah.
Everyone was calling the Colts like one of the best teams in the NFL, and they were a sleeper team in the AFC and a sleeper for the Super Bowl, and they're just rattling off win after win after win. He didn't have a problem with it then. And on top of that, it's funny because he never even missed any games because of not getting vaccinated. Like he missed a couple practices, but he came back and played that week that he
got COVID.
Yeah, your mic went out, Hall. I'm sorry.
It's also though almost like he kind of had an issue from like the moment he got there. Remember the whole thing with him and Michael Pittman, where it was like you just traded 2 first-round picks for this quarterback who has a number that he's worn all through college, everything. And Carson Wentz wanted to buy it from him, and Michael Pittman was straight up like, "No, there's nothing you can do. You can't get it. This is my number." And
Internet
it was like
doesn't
the
want
media
me to be great.
I want you to be great though. The media made a whole big deal about it, and it's like that thing was just doomed from the beginning. He was never gonna be able to live up to the compensation that they paid for him, and it was a disaster.
And it's really funny that the reasoning that they're using was his play. But then they go out and get Matt Ryan, who is limited arm strength at this point in his career. Very proven vet. Obviously, he's been more successful in the NFL than Carson Wentz, you could say. But that being said, they went out and signed Nick Foles today, which kind of tells you the confidence in the quarterback position was not as high as they were selling everybody on because it was not about the play. They just wanted the guy out of the building. But we're not here to discuss that crap. I can't stand Jim Irsay, honestly. I know Tim Meek likes him out there because he says he's like a normal guy. When he got busted with all those pills and everything, like trying to give medical advice to somebody, like
that was cool though.
A drug addict should not be voicing medical advice on somebody, especially somebody like Carson Wentz, who I'm sure does not partake in those type of activities. If that makes sense.
Yeah, nice guy though.
Nice guy. Now, I want to ask this question, Keith. I know this is a question for you because you are the football guru. You know the X's and O's. You just don't like to talk about it on Twitter. And so I wanted to ask you this question. This was from Mike Puckett. We were talking, let's say Washington it's 4th and 2, and Washington is on the opponent's 6-yard line. What play are you running, and who's getting the ball?
I'm going to give it to Gibson. And I'm going to that's a tough question, man, now that we've got Robinson.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what, man? I don't know, man. That Robinson was built for that. I'm giving it, and I'm going old school, man. Straight gut shot up the middle, man. Get those 2 yards.
I like that, dude. Just a hard-nosed mentality. This is what we're doing. Stop it. I like that a lot. What about you, Hall? What are you going to do in that situation?
I'm putting I formation or maybe like an offset I. I'm putting Robinson and Gibson in the backfield. I'm going to have Curtis Samuel in the slot. Send him on a little jet action across or behind in motion. And when you hike it, you're going to fake it to Curtis Samuel. And you can have Gibson running like up the gut for like a little like ISO play. Have Robinson going out like a little like a option like flip type of jump. And you can have 3 different options. You can give it to Samuel on the jet, see if you can get around the corner for 2 yards. You could fake the jet sweep and give it to Gibson on the ISO. Or you could do a little fake little jet sweep, flick it out to Robinson, let him try to pick up the 2 yards. Something like that.
You know what the problem with fake plays, though, is? That tells me when you come up to the line of scrimmage, you're indecisive. You don't know what you're going to do.
You don't have confidence in your actual.
But to be fair, that could be because they're trying to read the defense at the same time. But I don't know, man. End of day, I just think of John Riggins.
It's a lot going on for a 4th.
Yeah. I think of DY. I think of, Sellers, man. Just gut shot straight up, man. Just punch him in the mouth. Tell them this is what we're doing. We're going to do it. You guys watch them. We're going right through here, right through there. And just do it. That's making a statement. But I love you though, Hall. You're right.
I
was like thinking like Madden, like, how can I trick the defense? Which is really the AI computer.
How can I trick the computer? Yeah.
Right. That was just not going to happen. But Keith, I would say a lot of former players would probably agree with you. Just because that is the consensus, that is the type of mentality that you want on the football field. That regardless of what they're going to do, they're not going to stop you. I would agree with you in that breath. But what I would do here is I would go with an RPO, which is the run-pass option. So what I would have the quarterback under center. I've had Carson under center. I would have AG in the backfield. I would have 2 tight ends on each side of the formation, and then 2 wide receivers on each outside. I would have Terry on the right side out wide. I would have Logan Thomas as the left tight end. I'd run the RPO zone to the right with Antonio Gibson. If the DN crashes, Carson holds on to it. Logan runs an out route. If Logan is covered, Carson runs it in. If Logan is open, you throw the jump ball to the corner of the end zone, giving you multiple outlets, but doing it quickly, because that is probably the biggest emphasis on 4th and 2. The defenders are going to be crashing on you hard, and so you got to make a quick decision, check to see if the DN's coming. If he isn't, keep it, and then get that ball out. And that's what I would like to go with, just to give you more options, and then using those athletic abilities to your advantage, like Carson Wentz being able to scramble and run, but also Logan Thomas's jump ball ability in the red zone, and nobody being able to defend him there. He's unguardable. What about you, Reed?
Right. I'm with Keith there, where I'm going to show up in a big I formation, and I'm going to show you guys that I'm going to run it straight down your throat. However, then when Brian Robinson goes up to take that handoff,
I'm going to innuendo.
Yes. No, that was yeah.
That was very good.
Yeah.
That was very good.
Thank you. And then I'm going to have Carson Wentz pull that down. He's going to fake the D. He's going to roll out to his right, and he's going to hit John Bates, who's just going to leak out for an easy 2 to 3 yard gain, where even if he catches it in front of the first down marker, 2 yards is only 6 feet, so he could still kind of turn, reach across, use his length, and get across there. But of course, I'm also probably wrong, and we'd probably get sacked, because that's what happens to us.
And throw the fade.
Yeah.
Throw the fade.
Yeah, throw the fade. But throw it to Curtis Samuel.
Yeah, Jay Gruden would love to hear that, Keith. Now, I'm going to keep this with you, Keith. Everyone knows your family. You post about them all the time on social media. You went with them to a game last year. So this question is brought to us by Commander OC, Orange Crush 92. I know you're familiar with him. Mm-hmm. If you had to switch places with anyone in your family for a day, then who would it be and why?
Switch places with anyone in my family?
Yeah.
Oh. Maybe my 6-year-old.
That'd be tight.
Just so life could be simple again. You could pitch your pants and nobody would judge you.
I mean, we eat the same food already, so I don't. I don't have to make food,
Dino
adjustments.
Nuggets.
Right. And, you live in La La Land where, you just say you're a fan of something and you're happy and you don't know about all the BS that goes behind the scenes. You put on a t-shirt because your dad says the Commanders are cool and that's just what you do and you live life. I mean, yeah, I'd be a 6-year-old again. Why not?
Yeah.
I love that, dude. And the fact that
Yeah.
he brought up the food just puts the icing on the cake there. What about you, Reed?
So originally I was gonna say I was gonna go with I would be Lindsay so that way I could see what it looks like to be with me, and then I was like I just freak myself out and be very depressed about it. So I'm gonna be like Keith. I'm gonna go with James. That's the only other option, and just live carefree. I don't care. I don't even know how to talk yet. I babble. I do, but maybe I'm a little behind in talking, but it's okay because I just run around and I just get into stuff. I break stuff. I break cabinets. I pull doors off the hinges. I cry when I can't go into the bathroom because the door's unlocked. And I just do all sorts of fun stuff. I poop. If I have to poop, I just poop. That's it. I just pee. And
Exactly.
then somebody else takes care of it. So
Yeah.
you don't have any stress, no money, nothing. You just,
Dude, it's college all over again, Reed.
yeah, I didn't go, so I don't know.
But for me, I'll say the cool answer is obviously the Colonel. Just seeing what probably being out in the countryside, just growing vegetables and stuff. I'd love to be able to do what the Colonel does. But the real side, I would say probably my older sister Karina. She has 3 kids. She just moved down to North Carolina, the border to South Carolina. It's like near Charlotte, essentially. But she's had a rough time the past couple weeks of moving down there, having a newborn, and also having 2 infants. So I guess for the day, I would get some weight off my sister's shoulders so she could come and enjoy the beautiful life that I live here. What about you, Hall?
Oh, wait, we're switching bodies with them? Like, oh man, so James would be in my body.
Yeah.
That would be funny as shit. Okay. Yeah.
Nothing would change, by the way.
Yeah, having a
James.
1-year-old in this body
Yeah,
walking
dude.
around,
Same thing.
probably make better decisions.
Yeah. Better jokes, too. What about
Yeah.
you, Hall?
Probably.
I guess I would say my
He's gonna
brother
be fine.
Nick. My brother Nick, he lives down in South Carolina. He's like a chef, and he's like a beast ass cook. So like, I'll be down there just chefing it up, cooking, and yeah, I'm just enjoying the nice Charleston sun, the nice weather. Got Myrtle Beach right there. You got water, you got beaches around. So I hate the cold, and I hate everything about the cold. So I just want to be in Charleston where it's warm.
Dude, I gotta tell Nick to make some chocolate salty balls, man. Singing like some shit. Now, the next question we have is from Scott Harley in the UK, Keith. I want to ask you this, because this is right up your alley. What's more likely to happen the soonest? We win a Super Bowl or Dan sells the team?
I don't think Dan's ever going to sell the team, so I'm going to go with Super Bowl. We're stuck with this dude for life, man. We could sit here all day long and break down these reports. Dude ain't going nowhere. So
The optimism is just...
listen, you know what? I don't even know why people care, to be honest. Like just leave the man alone. Let him be a bad owner. It's not changing anything. And I feel like we're trending upwards. I feel it. I mean, we got excited about, stadium location possibly. Things are happening, man. And I'm telling you, just give us a Super Bowl, bro. I don't care about the owner. If I did, I wouldn't be going to games.
My man, well said. What about you, Reed?
Yeah, I'm right there with Keith. I mean, as we've said, but then again, I didn't think Dan Snyder would ever change the name either. So
That's true.
look at that. But I used to always be like, that's the good thing about Snyder, man. At least he'll never change the name. Yeah, that backfired. But no, yeah, I'm with Keith. I really think that yeah, we're stuck. We're in it and just enjoy it.
And one thing I'll say, the timing of the leaks of this year with the books and everything like that, it probably would have been more serviceable if it happened last summer before they actually got a new name. Doing the new name, coming down with this new land, new stadium, that kind of tells you what's going on. That's an owner that's not really worried that he's going to be ousted at any time soon. So I agree with you, Keith and Reed, that it most likely is the Super Bowl. Not because Dan Snyder is not going to sell, because this football team is damn good. Not the culture, the football team is damn good. What about you, Hall?
Yeah, I'd probably say Super Bowl just because I feel like selling the team would not be like him getting forced out wouldn't be him selling the team. That would just be him getting forced out. And I would definitely see him getting forced out before he ever sells the team. So I got to go with Super Bowl just because also at the end of the day, I just feel like the roster is like slowly but surely getting built up to like a pretty good roster. Everything's
Dude.
Oh, Yeah,
your mic cut out. I'm sorry, Hall.
Yeah.
Dude, it's like whenever you're about to make a great point, it does it
Yeah.
to you. You know what I mean? But
Right.
Reed, let's go to you next. Scott Harley's next question. Oi! You get one chance of bringing any free agent left on the market. Who are you taking and why?
That's
Connection is horrible today.
that's
It's the
that's
Heat.
that's a
Screen's
pretty
literally been frozen for like the past 15, 20 minutes.
Oh,
right.
really?
That's a pretty good one. You know what? I like that we addressed safety. Originally, I would go with Landon Collins just because I really like what he did last year. But I'm going to go with let's go with one of the linebackers. Let's throw Dante Hightower still available, right? He's a nice veteran who comes from a winning franchise who you can go in there and you can play on running downs. But you still obviously have Cole Holcomb, Jamin Davis be the two guys. But let's throw in one of those linebackers because that seems to be our weakness.
Hall, do you want to finish what you were saying? You were making a great point. No, you forgot it. Okay. A free agent I would like to bring in, I'll say Starlo Tulele, the defensive tackle. Right now, at the moment, I like where the defensive tackle room is, but let's just say that an injury could possibly happen to one of those top two guys. Are we really confident in Fedarian Mathis come there starting every single game and with the depth behind him? That is what I'm concerned about. So I'd like to bring in Starlo Tulele as in depth for somebody who knows the system, he knows what you expect out of him, and he's plug and play. You could bring him in a veteran presence and help sculpt that team if you were to lose one of your better players on the team, for me personally. What about you, Keith?
Yeah, so Reed kind of stole my thunder on this one. I've been kind of keeping my eye out on that, and it's because I am a little bit nervous about this linebacking position. Even though I do believe Cole Holcomb did step it up after Bostic left. Holcomb played pretty decent. I think we're going to be okay, but I'd like to see some depth come in. So Hightower was definitely one of my guys. But I'm going to have to disagree with you, Kyle. I look at it like this. If I can't enunciate the name or spell it when Googling, I don't want you on my team. You're too much trouble for me.
You know, that's really funny because like right before the draft started, I was on Parker's pod and I brought up Fedarian Mathis and that they liked him a lot before the draft. I remember trying to pronounce his name. I was like, Fedarian Falaga, something like that.
You should. Keith never drafted TJ Hushmanzada in fantasy because of that reason. And I respect that.
No.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Now, the last question that we have from Twitter is our guy, T-Mac. And Keith, I want to go to you with this. We don't have to answer because we essentially already did earlier. His thing is, I don't live there, so I don't care where the stadium ends up. What are your thoughts on the new possible location in Woodbridge?
Yeah, I'm not thrilled about it. I'll be honest. Woodbridge, to me, in my opinion, from the experiences that I've had there, is not the greatest place in the world to be in. Yeah, I'm not a fan. But at the end of the day, I look at it like this. I knew that anytime we were talking stadium, I had a feeling that, their heart was wanting to put it in Virginia. They do everything in Virginia, and I think that this was, it's going to be a smart decision. I know a lot of people are upset. Well, the Marylanders are upset, but you had to have seen this coming. And if it becomes official where that's the, kind of pinpoint location, sucks for me. I've been pretty vocal about it, but in a positive way. Like, look, first of all, they're not going to cater to some dude living in New Jersey, right? So, I knew the stadium wasn't going north of Maryland to get any closer to me. I figured it was probably going to head back down south, and so it's going to tack on another hour of my drive. It's going to change some things for me. Like, I probably won't be able to attend night games and stuff like that. But I look at it like this, man. If we get a brand new stadium along with our new brand, with everything new, our new uniforms, you know what, man, all these people on this little 5% of fan base on Twitter that is upset and wants to bounce from the team because the team moved to Virginia. All right, man, there's Baltimore right down the road. Like, see you later. What's going to end up happening is the people that say they're going to leave, okay, you leave. The Commanders aren't shutting down forever. I mean, they're just going to gain new fans. I mean, it's going to roll over. So it's just, I find it comical that the ones that are, and I'm not pinpointing anyone. I'm just generalizing. Like, at the end of the day, man, it's in Virginia. It's probably going to be a real nice stadium. It's going to be good. So if I have to tack on an hour and a half of my drive to go to a building that I pay a ton of money for, to see games, that would be it, and I'd be fine with it. So it is what it is.
Absolutely. And then those people that are complaining, saying they're going to walk away from the team, they're not really walking away from the team. You'll still
No.
see them commenting on the YouTube video uploads. You'll still see them in the Twitter section talking a bunch of crap. It's not that you're leaving the team. You're just openly now advocating for talking crap all the time about them.
The team's lost for 30 years. You haven't left
Right.
yet.
Yeah, right.
You're not
that
leaving
was the
now.
thing that broke your
Stadium
back
moving to
was the
Virginia is
stadium.
tipping point, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Anytime
Stadium
any
is where
news,
you cross the line. Get out
Right.
of here.
anytime any news comes out, people are always like, "Oh, I'm not. I was a fan of this team for 40 years, and I'm out." And it's like, really? Because they got new jerseys, that's why you're out? Because they're moving stadiums? Like, you're not leaving. I still see you guys commenting all the time. Like, you're not. Stop.
One of my funniest
Paying
things,
attention.
like I used to listen to 106.7 all the time. One of my funniest things was when the older callers would call in, they always had to talk about how many years they've been watching Washington play football. I've been watching this team for 34 years. They need to get back to the way that they used to run the football with John Riggins. Every time, every single day, you could just rewind it and then repeat every single day. It'd be the same person, to your point. But I agree with you, Keith. Who cares, to be perfectly honest? There's going to be, you can't please everybody, but I can understand, like, with your hog farmer buddies who are down south, Virginia Beach, this is good for them. Those people who actually show up, who actually produce and give a lot of money to the team are going to be rewarded for this. And I understand it. Yeah, it's a longer drive for me, but I know for the team, for the Commanders, this is the best thing for them. This area obviously hasn't done a lot for them in the 20 years, and nor has the team done a lot for us. But the fact is, it's better for them business-wise if they head more down south, because those people are more susceptible to buying the product. And they'll actually be excited because they don't have any team in the middle of Virginia and down towards the North Carolina area. They don't have anything. And they're going to be excited for a new team, new stadium. They're actually going to show up. And that is what I'm excited for. Because, the one thing about life is, like, you always want something you can't have. All those people in the DMV that haven't been showing up, talking crap about not going to stadium, as soon as it moves down to Woodbridge, here they come, boy. They're going to be running. I would be showing up if it was back here. No, you wouldn't.
Right.
Also, it comes down to, at the end of the day, oh, I'm not going to go to the stadium. This is the last straw. Or if they're winning games and it's they're competing in an NFC conference championship game, and you have the chance to go to the game where you got tickets. You're going to turn those tickets down. You're really going to turn the tickets down? You're not going to. So you're going to be there regardless if they start winning.
I think the toughest problem that's going to be, I think is going to be the bigger problem is obviously with this new stadium, there's no doubt in my mind they're going to charge PSLs. So for those who don't know what that is, it's seat
Pumpkin spice
licensing.
latte. Oh,
Yeah. Oh.
That'll
It's
get me
seat
to go.
licensing. And, those can run in between 8K, and that's not even including your season tickets.
Holy
So-
crap, dude.
Yeah. So the PSLs are going to be pretty expensive. You're going to see a lot of tickets hit the secondary market. I don't know what that's going to do for the pricing. It's definitely, it is what it is, but I also look at it like this too. It just gives me an opportunity then to pick and choose the games that I want to go to. I don't have to be a season ticket holder. I don't think being a season ticket holder makes you a bigger fan than someone else that only goes to one game or two games a season. Because hell, 3 years ago, I was only doing one or two games. But I was also in position in life where I'm paying $8K for my kids to go to summer camp, right?
Holy
Which is-
crap, dude.
Yeah, don't ask. Yeah, my wife. That's all my wife.
Oh,
But-
God.
We're still paying that, right? Well, no, actually, it was half because only one kid was going. But now that the young kid is old enough, he's going. So now it's doubled, and now it's $8K for the summer for them to go and do woodsy stuff. And I'm like, well, if they're going to summer camp, I'm going to football camp, and
Yeah.
I'm going to start doing me and doing, what I want to do. But I'm also in position in life to where I can. But, so that's really what it boils down to. But, look, just pick the games that you want to go to, buy the tickets, and go be a fan. Like, no one's forcing anyone to do anything. Like,
right.
and that's the thing. And everyone tries to, they either fight for their fandom. I've been 50 years. Well, I've been for, 43. I don't care how long you've been a fan. All I care about now today is that if you are a fan and if you can attend some games, come hang out at the Red Zone lot, because we're going to make it a family atmosphere. We're going to, a fun atmosphere, and we're going to take that positive energy inside the stadium. Simple as that.
And I'll tell
Right.
you from experience in the Red Zone lot, we had a great time. It really was a family atmosphere. You just showed up, and there was people, like, I remember we were taking sips of the tequila drink that they had made for us there, and the lady, I asked her, I was like, you mind if I get a drink of that? My buddy's thirsty. And she was like, it's my favorite drink. Have as much as you want. And like that's just the kind of atmosphere at the Red Zone lot with the hog farmers. So if you guys do come out, please make sure you go check them out.
Isn't
I'm sure the other lots are cool too. Like lot versus lot. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people that they
don't charge $20 to come up and.
I don't know.
Isn't it crazy though? Spending $8K for them to go make fire in the woods with sticks. Like at least if I'm paying $8K, they better supply some matches and gas and stuff. Like.
Yeah, man, listen, happy wife, don't get stabbed with a knife is the way I see it.
That's
a great way to see it. That summer camp, they better be lifting off rockets to Mars or something, the way I look at it.
You better come home and build me a bar by the time you're done.
Right. They better be complaining about their quarterback not being vaccinated and ship them off, right, guys? Right?
But last thing I will say, if you are upset about the stadium relocation, if you are pissed that it is moving away from you, one thing I would say, I would highly suggest that you start showing up to the stadium and you start embracing for what it is here now because of how cheap it is and what's going on. In time, they're going to win games. They're going to be good. The future is here with you or without. The train's moving, dude. Get on it. And as much time as we have, which is most likely only a couple more years, you better enjoy that stadium now. As crappy as it is, it's our piece of crap. We got to show up and support this team because one thing Jason Wright said that'll always stick with me is that if you want these moves to happen in free agency, that extra cash from season ticket holders from buying games is what really helps them out in being able to do so because the owner is busy at the moment. So if I were you, I would show back up.
What a salesman he would. Good for him. Yeah, that's all he was doing there.
All right, everybody, that's going to wrap us up for this show. Keith, I can't thank you enough, brother. Are you ready for OTAs next week?
I can't wait. It's going to be a little weird wearing the hog farmer gear and doing all that, but hey, I'll let it out, have swamp ass, and keep it moving.
So is this something to do every year? Is this like usually like a season ticket holder thing? So I thought OTAs normally like isn't open to the public.
It's not. So I guess this is part of their fan engagement.
Okay.
That they're doing, but there's a day where it's fan ambassador.
Fans, what do you mean? They hate the fans. They hate
I know. It's weird. Well, one of the days is where fan captains, fan ambassadors are going. They've also invited other people that aren't a part of those programs. I see a couple, posts on Twitter now where someone's talking about it. Yep, Kyle, but again, it's cool. I guess there's someone that's going to be going tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Is tomorrow Tuesday?
Yeah, Tuesday.
Yeah, so someone's going to be. Is there OTAs tomorrow? Because I seen a post saying let's 12 hours I'll be at OTAs. I'm like, oh, that's cool.
I know that it started this
I don't know,
week,
but
so
then
yeah,
there's someone else that's going June 2nd. So they're, again, they're really like doing this, but they were real specific too. No videos, no none of that. So it's just a private session. I'm sure players will come over, sign some stuff, for people. I think it's cool. I think it's cool that they're doing this. And I love the idea that they're not just making it fan ambassador and fan, captain exclusive. Like they're just randomly inviting fans, I guess. I don't know how it works. I should reach out and ask why, but I don't care, man. Bring as many people as you can.
Yeah, absolutely. The one thing I will say, it is smart on their part if training camp is going to be at Ashburn. There has been a great turnout at Richmond the past 2 years. Yeah. Last year when we went, it was the biggest turnout yet. And so maybe they are concerned about the turnout in Ashburn coming up here back north because we know the South does do well coming up here north. And that's why getting us out there early on at OTAs to get the word out would probably help them out a lot just to get some people in the building.
Yeah, for sure. And we get breakfast. That's what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
I don't care about the practice. Give me breakfast.
Right. Free breakfast? Yeah, I'll travel 6 hours too.
Yeah, shoot. All right, everybody. That's going to wrap us up for this show. Thank you so much, Keith. You're the man. If I will say, I don't think there's anybody out there in the Twitter sphere and the fan base that deserves more credit than you. Just being like helping people genuinely. Like you've helped me get tickets. I remember Brandon, when Brandon, you hooked him up with tickets to be able to go to his first ever game. And then there's other people like Simone, who's going through the cancer thing. And you really did a lot to raise money for what is like 8,000?
Yeah, almost.
Damn. Yeah.
And it's absolutely incredible what you do, man. It really, you really are awesome.
You also helped console Jesse after he saw Bigfoot.
Yeah, that's true. So. No, actually I laughed at him, but yeah, no, listen, man, I'm just the driver of that bus, bro. Everyone who rides on that bus is the one that really should be getting all the credit. I'm just, helping the process. And if that's the one thing I can do with my tiny little platform, my non-Hemingway or whatever, yeah, I'm gonna do it. Because like I said, man, yeah, meeting all these people, it's humbled me like no other. I mean, 4 years ago, I wasn't that dude. I was that dude in here. I just never displayed it to anybody. But when I saw the power of social media and what it can do, so be it, man. If we can help other people, hopefully, I've had some messages too, some DM messages where people legit were like being honest and said, hey man, quote unquote, you've inspired me. And that to me means more than anything else, because I've got somebody to see a different direction, and to maybe they can do something good with that direction, that path that they, might take. And that to me is more important than taking credit for anything else. I'm just the bus driver, man.
You're a good-looking bus driver. My bus driver, God, when I was good.
Hey, look, I just fermented my beer. Don't the Grays? They're coming back.
Well, hey, Gray is your last name.
Keith,
Gray is my last name.
Keith, I can't thank you enough for joining us, brother. It's always a pleasure to be able to talk with you. It's always a great time, and you brought a lot for us, dude. I do appreciate you taking time out for us, brother. All right,
always.
Everybody. I'll see you guys on Friday with a brand new episode, and we're gearing up for OTAs tomorrow, baby. Let's get hyped up. Let's get ready to see some practice footage that we're all excited for. All right, everybody. I'm Kyle.
Oh.
And I'm former NFL scout under Bill Parcells and Bill Belichick.
And I'm nobody.
Absolutely.
Hey, don't sell yourself short.
All right, everybody. We'll see you on Friday. Have a safe week. Enjoy yourselves. Washington football. Woo! Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Kyle. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. And if you liked what you saw, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you get notified when anything new is uploaded to the channel. Also, we just launched theburgundyzone.com. You can go there and find all of our latest news, articles, and the latest episodes that are uploaded. Again, we also have the Discord chat server, where all of our VIP folks are in, like Andy Burrows, Scott Hartley, Sergio Martin is in there as well. Don't miss out on the Discord chat server. Go and check that out. Until next time, everybody, Washington football. Woo!